Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your bonus reading. We are going to do a deep questions reading, I'm going to call it. So your first question is going to be, what's manifesting in your life right now? You have this horse spirit, says freedom is yours. You have this eagle spirit, says spirit has your back. So you could be kind of manifesting more flexibility. It's like I'm hearing more creative freedom in your life is like the thing that you are manifesting. Like, let's say, I think for a long time, maybe Virgo has felt like they are kind of like locked into an identity, which I've said to you before. And, that's the type of freedom that I think you're attracting here with these cards. It's like the freedom to like do what you actually want. And it's like you're not being boxed in, so I feel like this feeling of, it is almost like you're kind of just being set free from like an identity or how people see you or how you think people see you, something like that, right? Here, Virgo. And, it's definitely something that I would pay attention to, and I think it's going to lead to some good stuff. So your first card is going to be, again, what you are manifesting into your life at this time. Each card is going to represent something different. I'll cover that as we go through the cards. You have the Ace of Cups. So this literally could be love, and it could also be something that you will love entering into your life. So for a lot of you, I feel like you're entering into a time where you're like manifesting a time of more like heart coherence or whatever you want to call it. It is almost like you are living from your heart more. But like I'm getting a lot of weird messages here, Virgo. Like I think that, like what I mean by this is like you could find yourself being more brutally honest, right? It's like you're no longer, I feel like you're no longer sugarcoating your life, quite honestly, and with this Ace of Cups. And that's the message that's popping into my head. Kind of a weird message to get with this card, but it also makes sense. So, I think that you're kind of like being more bold and, everything. Again, this part of the reading is meant to represent what's being drawn in through manifestation at this time. So again, I feel a lot of energy on this Ace of Cups. Like not only is it love and things that you will love, doesn't even have to be a person, just could be things you love. But I think it's more of like true coherence. And it's like part of that is, like I said, telling the truth. Sometimes saying the thing that doesn't make you popular and, all that other stuff is the thing that brings you more into alignment, if that makes sense, which is actually a good thing. Again, a great example is YouTube. It's like, I have never seen a successful YouTuber who doesn't have a million freaking haters, right? And it's not about like haters or anything like that. It's just about, it's like, you have to have an opinion. And so it's like, you know what I mean? It's like to be truly successful in life, sometimes we have to be the opposite side or whatever, right? And it's like all those things are popping into my head with this card. And that's where true freedom comes from, where it's like you don't care what anyone thinks, you just that you're willing to speak your mind in some ways. And, I think that you're attracting true freedom in that sense. Next, we are going to look at how will this show up in your life. And you have the Queen of Swords. I think just literal clarity, which is crazy because I've done about 4 of these readings so far, and a lot of people have been getting clarity. But what I mean by that is it's like the more in alignment you are, I think the more clear you will feel. And it's like, also, I think that you will be getting better answers in life. And so that's what I would be paying attention to with the Queen of Swords. Not only that, I actually think you're going to attract more people into your life. And I'm not even just talking about love, but it's like the more heart-based you are, including your truth, the more people are going to be attracted to you, is like what I feel like this is saying. Or it's like, you're going to be drawing in more people because of that. And that's exactly what I would do. Or that's, what I would be focusing on with that Queen of Swords energy. Next, we're going to look at how can you align with this energy faster. And you have the 8 of Cups. Plain and simple, walk away from things that no longer serve you. That's all you have to do here, Virgo. He's walking away from these 8 cups, but, those 8 cups do provide him with something. So, the trick with 8 of Cups is sometimes we do have to walk away from something that is providing us with something, even if we don't necessarily want to, right? But he's deciding that he's not willing to settle for less than he deserves. So with the 8 of Cups, we just have to decide that we're not going to settle in life. And, again, if we decide that we're no longer going to settle for less than we deserve, then we get what we deserve. And that's what I would choose with the Eight of Cups is to no longer settle. Again, when we, again, if we do things that aren't part of our truth, that steal our freedom, then we are settling, right? And for whatever reason, that's the truth message is more popping into my head than anything else here, Virgo. With the Ace of Cups, you have the King of Wands. Again, the King of Wands he's bold, assertive, confident, doesn't give a flying flip what anyone thinks about what he's doing in his life. All that, right? I think having that level of confidence will help you manifest, this freedom more in your life, and that's obviously a good thing. Next, with the Queen of Swords, you have the Three of Cups. Yes, again, I literally said on that Queen of Swords that I thought you would be attracting more people into your life. Three of Cups is like your community. It is a card of teamwork, but it's also a card of celebration. These three ladies are celebrating a harvest, but it can also just represent like attracting people in general into your life. And again, that does not have to mean love. That can mean anything, Virgo. But I definitely feel like you could be attracting like a stronger connection, or, it's like you're attracting something stronger into your life here. And I feel that will be very good. I didn't want to pull these because we have to clarify this last card. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is independence. Again, I maybe that's why I skipped it, because I've basically already said this, right? Is that just getting into alignment with who you truly are, no matter what, and no matter what people will think. That's the answer to this first row of how you can attract things more quickly. Also, your focus. She gets what she focuses on. She has this falcon on her hand here, and the falcon represents the fact that she is training her focus. So I feel like the better you can train your focus on like what you want in life, the better, or the more likely it will be that you will have what you want. And, again, that's what I would focus on there. Next, we're going to look at what, if anything, is blocking you at this time. You have a Burst of Magic card and this beautiful Uncaging card. I feel like a little bit of blockage here, but I feel also that you are kind of setting yourself free from blockages. Again, I said like heart coherence or whatever on the Ace of Cups. Right here, we have this heart that is inside this cage. But I kind of feel you are opening your heart. Like, again, for whatever reason, it's popping into my head as honesty. And again, I read intuitively, so whatever. But that's what I feel for you, Virgo. It's like you're being more honest with yourself or something. Or it's like you're being more honest about, what you want out of life or something. There's like something about that popping into my head with this energy. And that's really what I feel. That's like the best way I can put it with this beautiful Uncaging card and everything. Is like I feel like there are things that you want out of life, or it's like there are things that maybe you believe or you desire, and you're getting more into alignment. Because of that, it's like you are being set free from your heart. One thing I would say is, as far as blockages are concerned, like we are in a little bit of a magical time. We will have Neptune retrograding one more time back into Pisces. If there was ever a time where we have to believe in magic, we have to believe in the impossible and that the impossible can happen, it's right now. And so I'm not saying that we have to believe that something unrealistic is going to happen, but I think we need to believe that we are a little bit magical, that we can, manifest and create and do, be, and have, and all that other stuff, right? So like working on that side of your belief system might be a good thing that will set you free. Next, we're going to look at what limiting belief or situation is in the way of you accomplishing what you want. And you have the Page of Wands. So Page of Wands is optimism. I really actually think that's what it is that, being more optimistic about your outcomes at this time, Virgo, will be the thing that helps you the most, right? I'm a big, huge fan of brainwashing yourself. I do it all day long. I literally, like when I go for a ride, I'm always like talking to myself in my car. I live in a small town. People probably think I'm crazy because like literally I will just drive around talking to myself, right? Gassing myself up, right? And I do not give a flying flip, since that's what we're talking about in this reading. And I'm just like a big fan of gassing yourself up, believing in yourself more, right? I think that this is saying it's not really a blockage so much as like needing to be more optimistic. That's what I feel like this card is saying in your reading, is that, instead of thinking that things definitely won't work, like even if you just believe a little bit that it could work, I think that tiny little optimism shift would be very beneficial for you. Next, we're going to look at how did this block form, or why is it persisting? You have the Nine of Swords. So again, the Nine of Swords is something that is persisting, right? Nine of Swords is having a nightmare, waking up, being stuck in a nightmare. It is Groundhog's Day. So sometimes I think, and the message I'm getting for you here, Virgo, is too much routine. I think you're a Virgo. I think it's very easy for Virgos to fall into routines. So I would say that mixing up your routine or changing up your routine would be a good idea. I think that, challenging yourself as well is popping into my head. It's like sometimes I think people think that something isn't possible because they've never tried it. That's it. Like, there might be things you want to accomplish right now that is in alignment with your heart, that would set your heart free. But you might be thinking to yourself, I could never do that. But you never know. Maybe you could. You just have never tried, right? So I almost feel this card is not meant to represent your solution. But again, I read intuitively, and I almost do feel that would be a solution for you, Virgo. If you are feeling stuck at this time, would just be to try something new, right? And to kind of like see what happens. The other thing with the Nine of Swords is we need to get out of our head. So, getting out of your head would be a good idea. You have the King of Swords. King of Swords is a card of knowledge and wisdom. This part of the reading is going to be what's your way through or around this blockage. And the King of Swords is about turning knowledge into wisdom. So literally, I think your way to get through this blockage would just be to try, right? He knows a lot, but he needs to take what he knows and he needs to turn it into wisdom. Again, to turn knowledge into wisdom, we have to take what we know and use it. And so I literally feel that you know a lot. You are a Virgo. Virgos are pretty smart. And for the most part, I don't think I've met a dumb Virgo yet that I can think of off the top of my head. No, definitely haven't. So I think that you need to know that you're smart. Plus, you're watching Minnow Tarot. Stupid people don't watch Minnow Tarot, right? So that's what I'll say there. The people that don't watch Minnow Tarot, I don't know. I'm not calling them stupid, but, who knows, right? So what I would say here is I think you know a lot, and you just need to use what you know and put it into practice. With the Page of Wands, you have the Judgment card here. It's like I feel like you're being called to something as well, and you need to believe it. It's like I said this to someone else, but I definitely get this feeling for you here, Virgo. It's like sometimes I think we are being called to something through maybe just excitement, right? The Page of Wands does not have a good reason for doing something that he's doing with his life. He is just excited about the prospect of doing it, and that's why he does it. Could be anything. But again, that's not necessarily good reason. There's no proof that what he's going to do is going to work. And it's just excitement. So again, maybe that's what the Judgment card is saying, is that the only proof that you have that you're being led to something right now is excitement or optimism. And I feel the Judgment card is saying, answer that call, Virgo. It's like if you feel excited about something, yes, that is confirmation from the universe that you're meant to move towards whatever that thing is. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Magician. The Magician is about manifestation, of course. The Magician can say you are manifesting things here on Earth at this time. And so I feel it would be an excellent time for you to practice your powers of manifestation in asking for things as well, is what I would say. You get the Magician a lot, and I'm always saying that it seems to me like you're in a time of reinvention, like reinventing yourself, and we said that in the first row. The other thing is that he's pointing towards the Hierophant, two totally different energies. Hierophant is very inside the box, conformity, things like that. I think that you are in an opposite energy right now. I feel like the universe is trying to push Virgos into being like more of a rebel. And, like I've said to you in the past 10 readings, trying to get you to color outside the lines, And so don't be afraid of like going against tradition in some area of your life here. With the King of Swords, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is literally doing something in a different way. He is stealing those swords from an army in the background. He's going to war, but in a different way. So I feel like you looking at the things you're trying to accomplish and seeing all the ways there are to accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish would be a good idea with this card. And I would just stay open and flexible at this time here, Virgo, and that's it. Next, we are going to look at where are you being redirected to at this time, if you are. You have this Delicate Rose. It says, you cannot make this up, Virgo. It says, be willing to honestly say what you feel, no matter how terrifying it may seem. That is what this reading is about. It's like, each one of these rows is going to be a different question, but the main theme of this reading, I'm telling you right now, is about your honesty. It's not saying that you're a liar at all. I am not calling you a liar. But what I am saying is there might be little things that you're like afraid of saying, or there might be some things that you're afraid of, saying in your business or whatever, because maybe you're afraid you're going to piss people off. Same thing in love as well. It's like, I think people go on dates and they don't like really say what they believe or say what they want and things like that. And that causes problems as well, right? You have this inner goddess card. It says, express your divine feminine energy and loving wisdom will transform your life. Yes, we talked all about wisdom with the King of Swords, right? So it is time. I almost feel like it's time for you to create with your wisdom. Like, those are the words I'm getting on that inner goddess card. Again, this row is meant to represent a redirection. Like, are you being directed in a new direction in your life? I would say kind of yes, but I think this is more what the theme of this row should be, is that you are creating something with wisdom. Like, that's the theme that's popping into my head. You have the Nine of Wands, the Hierophant, and the Star. The Nine of Wands, and again, the question we're asking here is, what path is closing or becoming unstable, or is there a path that is closing for you at this time? And I would say yes. I think there's a lot of things that you're closing out. You are closing out your old identity, Virgo, and now I feel it's like almost like, well, this isn't entirely accurate, right? But it's almost like I get this energy of you working on your, great work, right? Or it's like you're working on your Mona Lisa, your grand finale, right? And I'm not trying to be dramatic here, although absolutely, yes, I am. I'm going to unapologetically say that and say my truth. Yes, I'm trying to be dramatic here because I want you to get the freaking point. I feel like you are working on something bigger. It's like you're working on your big masterpiece, and that's really the feeling I get from this row. And obviously that's not necessarily going to be easy. It's going to be something that's going to take time, and you're going to have to put the work in. But it's like the Nine of Wands, he has those 8 wands behind him. He has all these experiences, and now he needs to apply those experiences to like one last thing, right? The card itself says he's not giving up on something. He's going to try one last time. So I really feel like you're working on your great masterpiece or something like that. Next, we're going to look at what's the real opportunity that's opening up for you. And again, the opportunity to color outside the lines, the opportunity to kind of manifest a vision on Earth is what's coming in for you right now. The thing about the Hierophant is that he communicates with heaven and earth. He communicates with both sides, right? He brings that heavenly vision down to earth. He's able to communicate the message he's getting from heaven down to earth. Again, your next great big masterpiece, or whatever you want to call it, or what you see as heaven on earth, right? That could be what you're bringing down to earth. And yeah, that's pretty powerful. I would definitely work on that for sure. And don't be afraid of being a rebel either. Next, we're going to look at why is this redirection ultimately in your favor? Because it'll probably make you the star, right? It'll probably pull you out of hermit mode. As a Virgo, you know this well. This hermit has the star inside his lantern. It's like there's a part of you that's meant to be seen, but it's going to require this like bold energy for you to stand out, right? And I feel the reading itself is encouraging you to make moves that help you stand out for what makes you special, or what puts you in a position of power and strength, or what leads to the most success in your life. And that's really what I would be doing with this energy for sure. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Knight of Swords. It's like I wouldn't rush anything at this time. Again, the question here is what path is closing or becoming unstable? It's like I feel like rushing back to the past. I think you're seeing something through to the end. I'm almost getting a separate message here. Sometimes I feel that the Knight of Swords says we need to see something through to the end, or we need to kind of like close something out. By the way, I forgot to say this, but I have all the questions right here that we're asking. These questions are down below in the description. So if you want to follow along, make sure to see that down below. But again, it's almost like you're not going back to something with that Knight of Swords card, and it's like you're more charging forward. I know what this is. I feel like you're more paying attention to momentum is what this part of the reading is saying. I think we can work on things, and they don't work. They slow us down. And we can work on other things that create more speed. And I feel that Knight of Swords is like pay attention to momentum, or things that cause momentum. Next, again, for what is the real opportunity that's opening up here for you, I almost feel like you're going to be presenting something in a different way. It's like maybe there is a certain way that your business is presented in the world. But it's like that Magician is screaming to me, saying that it's time for Virgo to be a rebel. I feel like I said this to you recently as well. But it's like, the people who do those things are the ones that always end up the star, right? It's almost like the reading is saying, by going against the grain, by not doing things according to everybody else's rules, that's the thing that is going to make you the star here, Virgo. Here you go. With the star, you have the star. Basically, the universe saying I meant what I said. So, like I said, I think it's time for you to stand out. I think it's time for you for you to stand out for your own unique perspective and your own unique creative ways for living life and doing things. And, that's what I would do here, plain and simple. Next row, we are going to look at messages from your future self. And you have this laughter card. It says emotional release, joy, and connection. You have this befriend card. It says empathy, courage, and transformation. If there ever was a sign that would make friends with all the animals, it's Virgo, right? I've known a ton of Virgos in my life, and they all love animals. So there you go. But you definitely could be entering into a more peaceful time. I do think your future self is asking you to have more fun, to enjoy life more, to just really soak up that just goodness energy and to take time to do it, right? You have the Seven of Swords. On the Seven of Swords, he has these polka dots on his cloak. Polka dots in the tarot can represent taking things too seriously and needing to have more fun in life. So I think you need to have more fun in life with the Seven of Swords, plain and simple, and enjoy yourself more. Next, we're going to look at what do you need to stop repeating from the past? And you have the Hangman, questioning yourself, plain and simple. The Hangman, he knows what he needs to know, but he's also kind of keeping himself stuck, right? He's hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom, and he's gained enlightenment. The whole point of the card is that he's wanting to gain a new perspective so that he can move forward, right? He's putting himself on pause on purpose. But, I kind of feel like what you need to stop repeating from the past, or what your future self wants you to stop repeating from the past, is putting yourself on pause and then not making a move. It's like, I think that this could be you going out and learning things. You get the knowledge, but you don't turn it into wisdom, right? Actually practice it. So that right here, right? King of Swords, Hierophant. Hierophant is the teacher. King of Swords, turning things into knowledge and wisdom. It's again, it's not going to be very beneficial for you to learn something and then not use it. So make sure you're using what you learn. Next, we're going to look at what advice would your future self give you right now. Hermit, just be yourself, really. But this is about your true truth, right? Your deeper truth that you're exposing. So really, whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength, allows you to get what you want from the reading. So this is amazing. Very good. Really, I think your future self wants you to shine bright, but through your truth, like we were talking, even if it pisses people off, even if it upsets certain people, or even if it rocks the boat. You're meant to rock the boat right now. That magician really says to me, for whatever reason, that magician is really saying to me, for Virgo to have the most success right now, they really need to let that rebellious side out. They need to be the rebel and go against the grain. I don't know, just what you're meant to be doing right now, Virgo. And I think embracing that energy is going to be really good. Next, we're going to look at what part of your life will change the most if you follow these rules. Everything. You have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. It is a spark of inspiration, a spark of hope. I always say this is my favorite card in the tarot simply because sometimes I think this is just that one thing we need to get motivated. The Ace of Wands. It's just that one thing we need to kind of get somewhere. And so I feel like you're going to be inspired. I feel like you're going to feel inspired and feel like the universe is on your side and all that other good stuff. With the Hangman, you have the Ace of Cups. So again, definitely could be love. I think you're moving more towards your heart, like we said, with that beautiful Uncaging card. And you have the Ace of Cups at the start here. Definitely could be love. Your last row is going to represent love, and you do have love here. So, we'll talk about it. But you definitely could be attracting a positive connection. Again, this part of the reading is what do you need to stop repeating from the past, what your future self wants you to stop repeating. And so the Ace of Cups would be giving to things that don't fulfill you, right? So I think what you need to pay attention to here with those two cards is you have an experience, Hangman. You can have an experience, you can learn something, and you can learn that either it does give to you or it doesn't give to you. And then what your future self is telling me that you need to do, as if that's not confusing enough, is that you need to double down on things that cause you to overflow. I think that's what this is saying, is that there are things you do that you know are great, and there are things you do that you know don't fulfill you. So practice more fulfillment. With the Hermit, you have the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is about setting yourself free. right? So this could be marriage, sure. We'll talk about it in a minute in the last row. And you have some really good stuff here for marriage, love, pretty much everything. So yes. But again, the question we're asking here is, what advice would your future self give you right now? And the Four of Wands would say, set yourself free, right? There's something that you need to complete. I think there's something you've been working on that needs to reach its logical conclusion. And it's like you need to take it to the next step to find the most success. And that's what I would do here with that Four of Wands. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is about following your heart. I definitely feel would be a great time for you to follow your heart, follow your intuition, follow your inner voice, right? We've been talking about that this whole entire time. I also feel like you're going to feel much more connected to yourself if you follow this advice. So, that's another good thing that will be happening here, Virgo. Next, we are going to look at who's thinking of you, or does anyone have their eye on you at this time? This could be love, but it could also be something else as well. There are some wild cards in this deck. I always forget to pull them out. This is the Gilded Lenormand, so I don't really read wild cards in Lenormand for a couple of reasons, but I'll spare you the details. You have the King of Diamonds, which is the fish, and you also have the Ace of Diamonds, which is the sun, which is amazing. Number one, the fish in the Lenormand can represent a soulmate, and no, it doesn't have to be Pisces. People always ask me, because it's a fish, does that mean Pisces? And I always say no. It just means any person, right? Although you do have the High Priestess here, which is kind of funny. So it could be a Pisces if you are looking for love, but it could be any sign. You have basically everything here. The thing I really like about this row as well is that you have the Hierophant and the High Priestess. I look at those two as better divine counterparts than the Emperor and the Empress. So, and this right here is an excellent counterpart, the fish in the Lenormand. But I think this is a person that will make you very happy. So if you want love, there is definitely probably a person that's thinking of you. You have the Emperor, and the question we're asking here is what their current energy is towards you. I do think you are attracting like a true Emperor here, Virgo. So if you want love, I feel it's like a true person, like a high vibe, good energy, right? Like the type of person you want. It could be whatever gender you want. Doesn't matter. Even though they're showing up as an Emperor. I feel like they're showing up as an Emperor because of flow. We see a lot of amazing cards for flow in this reading. Ace of Cups twice, Star, Queen of Cups, really good stuff. The Emperor, it's hard to see, but he has water that flows down to the Empress. So I feel like this person, it's like it will be obvious that you're getting something out of it, right? So definitely could be love. Next, we're going to look at what do they wish they could say to you right now. I do feel like you're attracting a person that's going through some significant change. Yeah, this person's like a train is what I feel like saying. I feel like I said this to you recently as well, Virgo, that you're like attracting a person that's like going in a direction. That's what I mean by a train. It's like they have a thing that they're aiming at. If I put myself in this person's shoes, and it's like that's the thing that they're going to accomplish. You can get on the train or not, right? So I don't know, if you want to attract a driven person, there you go. I think you could be attracting a very driven, motivated person is really what's popping into my head. Could be a Scorpio. So you always have Scorpio all up in your business, so I don't know, whatever, could be anything, but I do think this person is also going through some positive changes. Next, we are going to ask what is likely to happen between the two of you. You have the High Priestess. I don't know. I think you'll intuitively know. I think some of you, if you have your eye on a person, you already intuitively know that this is your person, but definitely could be a very solid connection coming in for you. The High Priestess says that this will probably be a very intuitive connection just in general. It's like, it could be the type of person where it's like you almost read their mind, or maybe the two of you read each other's minds, right? So definitely very good. I also feel that there is a lot of potential here. I'm not saying that you're definitely going to marry this person, but you do have the Hierophant and the Four of Wands, which is great for marriage. The thing about the High Priestess, though, is that she just represents potential. It's like if you put nothing into it, nothing's going to happen. If you put something into it, something's going to happen, right? So both people have to be willing to put in the work, and I think so. We'll see. With the Emperor, you have the Devil here. I think this person is healing. You have that Death card, right? They're going through changes. It could be a person with Capricorn in their chart. It could be a Capricorn as well. I do think Capricorn is a good match for Virgo, so the Devil isn't always bad. And I don't really feel bad about this, but I do feel that you could be dealing with a person who's kind of like healing from something from the past here, so, that's what I'd pay attention to. I would also definitely pay attention to energy. If you are dating, like let's say you're dating multiple people, or you're just looking for a person right now, you know what I mean? It's like there is a clear message in this reading that's saying like what's right for you will fill you up. Ace of Cups. What's wrong for you will steal your energy, right? So for those of you that are dating, pay attention. With the Death card, you have the Nine of Swords. I feel like you're attracting a little bit of a sensitive person as well. I think this person has been hurt a lot in love. So it is popping into my head that while I do think this is a good person, I kind of feel like this person is, it's like they might be a little slow at first. Not like in a bad way. I'm just saying, they might not like open up fully right away. But again, there's a big difference between someone who's playing games and a person who's just taking their time, right? Big difference. So what I would say is this person, a positive person is not playing. The positive version here of this Emperor is not playing games. I think that they might be moving slowly, but I think they will communicate, and there will be equal give and take and everything like that. A person who's playing games, Devil, will be a person where you feel drained, you feel exhausted after, and they're clearly playing games. I think it will probably be obvious that they're not serious, right? So pay attention. But I kind of feel like it is a person who's been through a lot, so you might notice that. With the High Priestess, you have the Two of Swords here. And this is not going to go how you think, which is probably a good thing with the Two of Swords. She's thinking this or that, but really there's something over here. I always say this is my card of third place solutions. So, I do think this could go in a very interesting direction. I kind of feel, if I'm being honest, I feel like this is something that's up in the air. If this person, I do feel like you're attracting a new person, for those of you that want love. But I think this person needs to open up, right? If they do open up, I think things will go great. If they don't, obviously they won't. Plain and simple. But this is a really interesting reading. Definitely let me know down below what you think of this style of reading here, Virgo. But thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.